Hello, and just like that, we are back. Don't call it a comeback, okay? Because we're back. Here we are. Welcome to the Let's Unload podcast. Now, y'all, baby, let me tell y'all how rusty your friend was. Baby, we were struggling. Do you hear me? Struggling, trying to get it together. But nevertheless, here we are. Baby, your eyes are not deceiving y'all. It is both with F's, okay? BUFF. Both of us are on the screen. And as you know, I'm your girl Shun, and my lovely co-host is Miss Dina. Dina girl, what's been going on? What's going on?
Listen. I'm so excited to have Miss Shun back tonight. Cause let me tell y'all, before we dive into what's been going on last night, y'all. So I called Miss Shun yesterday. I said, listen, what we doing? Do I need to call my lawyer and have some separation papers? Are we getting divorced? Like, what are we doing? She said, you trying to break up with me over the phone.
Y'all, she was trying to break up with me. I'm like, not the lawyers. Wait a minute. Can we go through counseling first? Y'all, she went straight to divorce. I'm like, don't we supposed to go through counseling?
I was just trying to see what it was now, because I was trying to do a little consecration so I can get my life together. Because y'all know I've been kind of MIA on the other side of my own. Because life it's been doing moving a little fast and shaking real fast. So I ain't had time to be on her. So I'm like, I need some direction for what we doing moving forward. So let me hit up my girl Sean, seeing what she thinking about. And listen, y'all, she said, I'm ready. I said, say less. So she said she was ready. Baby, I've been doing my homework today, okay?
Yeah, y'all. She was trying to I tell you.
I wasn't gonna break up with her, y'all. I'm just trying to see if she was gonna string me along, how long she was gonna string me along, or she was trying to find her a new replacement, or what she had going on. Because she thought maybe because I was doing it by myself that's what I wanted to do. No. No. Now I am want to still stay committed and to do my own channel every week, Lord, help me.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely miss being on here with my girl Sean. Because y'all talk back to me sometime. But Sean, if ain't nobody else talking back, we talking back to each other, honey. We gonna give each other a word for the night, okay? So I am just excited to have her back. Welcome back, Sean. What I say?
Oh, thank you. It is. Oh, so we're gonna dive into like where we've been, what's going on, the changes. We're gonna dive all into that. But before we get into it, y'all know I gotta do the church announcements. Just because we've been gone, don't mean things have changed. We're gonna have to do church announcements. So on church announcements, y'all already know what to do. But if y'all forgot, let me give you a reminder. Y'all need to like the video, please and thank you. Now, if you're over there in Dina's live and stream, we thank you. But I want you to back up out of Dina's real quick. Come over here to mine, hit that like button, and you can go back over there to Dina. I'm okay with that. But I need y'all to like both videos. So the importance of liking the video is getting your girls up in the algorithm, okay? So it's just easy. It is simple to do. All you got to do is just hit the like button, okay? And if you haven't subscribed to either one of our channels, please be sure to do both. I am Deep Conversation with Shun and Dina. Journey with Dina. Journey with Dina is her YouTube page. Okay. Now, y'all know we've been more me than Dina. Dina been working, but I told Dina, do not stop working. Do not stop. Just because I have stopped, do not mean you need to stop. And y'all, she delivered. She did it. She listened. She pressed through, and she ended up doing it. Now, life hit me with a whirlwind. Do y'all hear me? We family, we cool. Let me tell y'all, baby, your girl Shun lost 3 family members in 6 months. 3 family members. One of them being the matriarch of our family, which was my grandmother. And y'all could have bought me for a penny if anybody would have told me that this would have been my 2025. I would have been like, you crazy, go have several seats. Baby, you got me messed up with another Shun. I don't know who you talking to, but you ain't talking to me. Baby, so you could have bought me for a whole penny. And going through this change and going through these things, you find yourself backing off, not doing it purposely, but you find yourself kind of backing off. You find yourself kind of like, wait a minute, it's so much going on. You know, if you already working, you already have family, then death hits, and then, you know, it's so many moving pieces that comes along with it. So Dina was on a journey, but guess what? I was on a journey too. And this was not a journey, baby, I signed up for. I want this journey. I don't know what this journey was. And I was definitely taken aback. So when Dina called me yesterday, she was like, so what we doing? And I was like, okay, I think I'm at a place to where I can be full and paying attention and not feeling like I have so much on my mind and feeling like, okay, I've, you know, grief is one of the things that comes in waves. You know, it comes and it goes. You could be sitting down and you can see the color purple, and so for whatever reason, you think about something and here go the tears, you know, rolling down your eyes, right? So for those who was wondering, that's why I was away. Some things have popped off in the family that was very unexpected. And it took your girl out for a little while. It took me out. But I'm back by the grace of God. By the grace of God, I'm here. Dina, so what was it like doing this by yourself?
Listen, doing this by myself really stretched me. And one of the words that I got today while I was, you know, trying to find the rhythm of the day was comfort. It took me out of my comfort zone because I had gotten okay and dependent of being here with you. And so when you told me to go on and do it by myself, I'm like, what am I talking about? Like, what? No, we were doing this. I wasn't expecting for us to have that time apart at that time.
In the beginning, we were in the beginning.
Yeah, we were definitely in the beginning, but it's I ain't gonna say it's crazy, but God is just so intentional to how I paid attention to the things that you did. And you know, even the verbiage of how you came on and told them with the church announcements, I made sure I did all of that. But it forced me to come out of my comfort zone, which is a lot that we need to do in life, period. And it forced me to have to sit down and come up with things on my own. And so it forced me to study. So that's why I told you I got my notes, because I study and come up with the topic, whatever the Lord has me to say. And you told me just to, I was like, what am I going here and talk about? Like, without you. He was like, tell your own journey. And baby, my journey was journeying, okay? But it's crazy because even when me and Sean talked about when your first family member passed away and you was getting prepared to come back, the Lord had kind of gave it to me without saying it, but in my spirit, I felt like, nah, she's not gonna come back. I was gonna be on here by myself the whole summer. And until I didn't know when, but I just knew that I was gonna be on her just Dina. And I definitely didn't know that it was gonna be because of the deaths in your family. But I made sure I wanted to reach out because, like you said, grief and death comes in different ways, and I haven't, Lord forbid, I know we all gotta have that moment, had those places where I've been in like that. So I just tried to make sure that, I reached out to you and to kind of back up, because that's one of the things that I had to learn about when people are grieving or when they're going through their own little seasons of life. Some people don't want to be bothered. Not that they mad, but they just don't want to. So this definitely has been a journey for me, but I will say I had some days where I didn't want to do it. And I could just hear you in my head saying, because when I first started and when you told me to go ahead and to do it by myself, I'm like, what? So I was sitting down one day and I say, so what are you gonna do? So it's because Sean gone, you gonna just fall back and do nothing, or are you gonna step up and keep moving? And that's one of the challenges of life, how we don't like to keep moving. We like to get settled. I could have been settled and set us on the sideline for what, 6, 7 months. I did nothing. But that ain't what I signed up for. So I wanted to make you proud that you taught me well, and that when you came back, I held it down. And I had some people that were on here, and it was crazy because, like I said, some of the days I didn't want to do it because I wasn't feeling it, and I didn't want to do it. And you told me there would be days that you don't want to do it, but every time I felt like I didn't want to do it, or I'm like, what's the point? Somebody would call me or text me and say, hey, you coming on tonight? I'm like, dang, I guess I gotta go. So it helped me a lot, but it has definitely been a journey that I have shared. I'm always gonna keep it 100 with y'all. Tell y'all my business as always. But it was good. But I'm glad that my girl Sean is back.
Okay, y'all. Here I is. Here I is. So you talked about, stretching and growing. What do you think the biggest lesson you learned from having to be like, I had a safety net to boom, my safety net is gone?
The biggest lesson that I learned is you never know what you can do until you try. Like if you would have never taken that break, I would have never stepped out there on my own and tried to do it. And listen, I tried some things because, honey, I even had a guest on here one night, honey. I had a guest, and it took me a minute to figure out how to get her to come on the panel, to send the stuff to her and all that stuff. But I was determined to do it because you can't keep shrinking back and being in your comfort zone and not willing to step out there when the Lord opens up doors for you, because you never know what that door leads to. So it made me grow up another level. So I'm continuing to grow. So I ain't gonna lie, I was so proud of myself.
Good.
I continued on. Some days it was short, and some days I was like, dang, I've been talking this long. Let me shut up. All right, y'all. Good night.
The best thing is to show up. And one thing I will say in my absence, and one thing that what I think was a takeaway for me was sometimes we want to give our all so much because we don't want to let the other person down. And while I'm trying to give, I'm depleting at the same time. And being hit with something like that, you know, I felt like I had to be, and no, not because somebody asked me to do these things. Let me make this very clear. But I felt like I had to be like the strong person in certain aspects when it came to my family. And I felt like I had to keep a level of get it together, you know, like, come on.
Right.
You don't have time to cry. You don't have time to, you know, because I'm looking at my father and my aunts, my, you know, and I'm feeling like, let me keep them, my uncles, you know, and I'm like, you know, you're going to have to push through. But then it'll be a moment where I'm like, oh my God, this is super heavy.
Right.
And I, you know, I found myself like wanting to do all of these things, and which I did do, and I probably shouldn't have, you know, taken on that burden the way I did, but I did mentally. I took it on, and I felt like I had to take it on, and because I was so kind of wrapped up in it, I don't know if I had space to be able to have a conversation. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Right.
be able to give it my all and show up as the Shun that people see me as. You know,
Right.
I don't know if I would have had that capacity to be able to show up and be, and I probably could have skated through, but there were a lot of days where I'm like, I'm just gonna go to sleep. I'm just gonna lay down. You know, it
Mm-hmm.
was days where I'm like, okay, I was working late, work had gotten crazy. And it was almost like God was like, when work ended up getting crazy, I took that distraction. I took it. I'm not gonna even hold y'all. I took that distraction big time. And it got crazy. Work got super wild. And I felt like I needed that, but at the same time, I also knew that I was not allowing myself to breathe the way I needed to.
They were using it as a
Because whatever
distraction.
distraction came, I took it on. I
Mm-hmm.
took that distraction and roared proudly, you know. But there were times, and even my friends would tell me, and she was like, I don't hear from you. You don't call me. I don't talk to you. And I was realizing, like, wait, am I pulling back? And I was pulling back, not even realizing the things that I was doing. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, wait, why feel like I talk to you? What are you talking about? You know, she was like, yeah, you probably just called and asked me something, but we ain't talk. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, but I
Mm.
saw you. She's like, yeah, but that don't count. And I'm like, oh. So I pulled a Cardi B. Like, am I the drama? No, I'm just playing. But I was like, wait, what is going on? What happened?
So
Yes.
even with you saying that, like one of the things that I came up, one of the questions I came up with was for you, what's harder, reconnecting after time apart or maintaining connection during hard seasons?
Maintaining.
Maintaining connections during hard
I
seasons.
feel like, okay, wait. I feel like both.
Okay.
I feel like it's a little bit of both. I'm going to say 50-50. Maintaining while you're going through can be hard because if
Mm.
the world is on fire and it's like, wait, I'm supposed to stop, and it's going to sound mean, but I can fix it up and kind of tend to your needs. Like my world is on fire, right? And I'm having to stop and tend to your needs. And then I also feel like the other 50% of kind of picking back up, sometimes people don't take that lightly. Like, girl, we ain't talking too much. That you're trying to pick up like nothing ain't never happened. So I can see 50-50. What are your thoughts?
Um, See, for me, I probably would say during my hard season, I still need that. I need that connection. I need that. I don't want to try to go through this alone. I need, some guidance, some whether it's some prayer, some spiritual. I need to talk to somebody because for me, the more I'm by myself, the more my mind wanders to places and things that I should not have. So for me, I don't like to. I don't think I've if I ever been a person to just pull back and not connect. It's probably when I was younger, when I went through periods of depression where I didn't want to talk to nobody. But as for now, I think not doing. I don't think connecting. I think coming back.
Coming
Like you
back.
said, yeah, but like some things, some relationships and friendships you can come back from, whether it's been time apart, because we all have friends that we talk to every now and then, and it's like nothing has changed. But then you got some
Mm-hmm.
friends like the one you was talking about, and we talking on a regular, and then you come MIA. I'm like, what's going on? And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, because I be trying to figure it out, because even recently, like doing all this, I had a person that reached out to me, and I hadn't talked to them in a while. And I'm thinking everything normal. I just hadn't talked to them, and but I reached out to them, and they was like, "Well, they not in a space to talk right now." So that kind of made me feel some type of way at first. Now, so I gave it some time or whatever, and then when I finally talked to them, they was very short with me. So in my mind, I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do this. We can just dead net right now. And then they ended up
Mm-hmm.
calling me maybe a little while after and told me that they was offended by something that I had forgot to tell them. But in my mind, I'm thinking everything is good and you just don't want to be bothered. But we had a conversation, because that's just me. And
Mm-hmm.
once we had the conversation, that's what really got me to try to learn when people are going through their seasons. Everybody go through them differently. Some people want to
Mm-hmm.
reach out like me, and some people just they have to take a step back from everything. But you got to respect they space and they time. Would it be hard? Because I'm just trying to be here for you. There's something I need you to do, because
Yeah.
I guess for me, I'm the giver. I'm the one who always trying to check and make sure everything's all right. It ain't nothing I did
Mm-hmm.
right. I want to make sure that I
Right.
ain't doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So because even when I checked on you a couple times, I'm like, I wonder, is it something I did? She's all right. She mad? I don't know. She didn't respond. Like I don't know how to feel. So I just there was a learning process that I had to go through too. So
Yeah. And you know what? And I think I am appreciative of the checking in. Because let's be honest, the people who back off mentally, we're still thinking, wait, I haven't heard from them. Especially when you're going through something. You're still thinking about it. Now, here's the difference that I think most people should do, and which, well, let's speak for me, what I end up taking on. If I did not hear from you, and I'm not talking about you, I'm saying you as a general statement.
right,
If
right,
I didn't hear from a person, I'm not holding it to them and be like, oh, Sally Sue didn't call me and they know I'm going through da 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 da. Like, I didn't take it on a personal thing. And when
hmm
I would like when these thoughts would come to my mind, I would actually just, refer back to the Bible verse and be like, I'm gonna exalt my, thoughts above all these things, which is Bible. You like devil, you're not finna agree to come and torment me and
hmm
make me feel away. And now I'm creating a beef in my head, and somebody else ain't even got this beef. And like you said, we don't know what Sally Sue, Bobby Boo, and everybody else is going through. We could be going through all at the same time.
hmm
So even though we may think about it in the back of our head, some of us would take it on and add that as another layer of a problem. But I decided, like, I'm not going to add this on as a layer because I don't know what this person is going through.
right.
And just like I can say to myself, Sally Sue ain't reached out to me. Well, guess what? You ain't reached out to Sally Sue. It can go both ways, you know. It really
hmm
goes both ways, but we do get into a moment where we feel entitled, like I'm owed this, and like I'm Queen Sheba or somebody, and I'm owed this, like people need to come and lay at my feet because it's me. And that's not the case. So I did have to, but that comes with a guy because it wasn't by my own might and strength. Let's be
Right.
honest, we flesh. So it definitely was by him of like no, get off your high horse, girl.
Right.
Don't take this as a personal attack. Don't take this as a personal thing. And that's what I end up having to do. And you start to come out of it when you go before the Lord, whether you're in fasting, whether you're in prayer, whatever the case may be. And if you're doing it with a sincere heart, he's going to reveal some things to you anyway and be like, girl, you ain't all the way together either. So, but yeah.
Well, that's good though, because what I really initially did was I took this on as a partnership and like even a marriage, right? So what I've
Mm-hmm.
learned even in business is partnerships, whether it's business or personal, partnerships mirror marriage anyway, right? So
Correct.
while my partner was out, I did the partnership thing in the marriage thing and I covered them. So,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I stepped up and I did what I would do in a marriage. You step up and you
Mm-hmm.
cover the person and you keep it moving. So
Mm-hmm.
that
And
was
you
a
did a
win for me
wonderful,
too.
and you did a wonderful job. I must say, stepping up, doing, especially coming into a world that is so new. Like this is new.
Mm-hmm.
And even for me, that's kind of had a little up under my belt, experience. Even coming back, I was like, girl, what am I doing wrong? I can't figure this out. What is happening? So I can only if I felt this way as somebody who has a little experience, I can only imagine, your safety net being snatched and you're like a deer headlights, like, what am I supposed to do? How do you do this? How do you do that? And a person, like I said, a person who have the experience, and I'm like, girl, I can't figure this out. And I'm literally sitting just like this in the camera, like looking. I'm like,
Yes,
what am I
yes.
missing? What am I doing wrong? I can't get it. And I'm like, girl, I'm at the bag out of here. Let me come back. Let me figure it out. So I can only imagine. And I think that's a testament of who you are as a person, because it is easy to tuck your head in between your legs and run off and hide and
Right.
sit in the corner and wait till she come back. You know, but it grew you and it strengthened you, because Lord, don't let nothing else happen like this again. But God forbid something else happen, you got the tools to do what you need to do. You got it.
Yes, I do. And it's just like the Lord has he already been all year pushing me into things because I don't
Mhm.
willingly go too fast. But I got
Yep.
pushed into that just like everything else. So I'm like, at this point, it is what it is. I might as well go on, take on something else. Like everything else been happening. Like what else can go
Mhm.
the opposite way? But it, like I said,
Yeah.
it showed me that I can do it because sometimes we have in our mind that this limited amount of what we can do because that's what I'm so used to. And I always say, baby, this little computer technology and all this kind of stuff, this ain't my thing. It works my nerves to the T. But I took my
Mhm.
time. I definitely prayed, and I came. Then the Lord gave me what to say, the topics, and then I just made a series out of it. Listen, I watched you, I
Mhm.
studied you, and it came on to pass what I was supposed to be doing because I know that this is something that God gave us to do. And
Mhm.
whether you was out or I was out, it still was to go on. Because
Mhm.
one thing that I always try to do is to be consistent in whatever God gives me. Either if
Mhm.
I get on for 5 minutes, if I get on for 5 seconds, I have done what I'm supposed to do and
Mhm.
gave it to whoever needs to and go on about my business because that is what God
Yeah,
requires of me.
that is true. You got any more questions since you did some homework? What other question you got
Let me
over
see.
there in
I
there?
do ever see it says, I think we did this one. It was like one thing. Let me see. Have you ever come back to a relationship and realized you've changed more than you thought?
Ooh, yes. Yes, I
And that
have.
you have? Hmm.
Yes, in this season, yes, I have. Yes, I am not as uh, what's the word I want to use? I'm Go keep it real. I'm not as gossipy as I used to be, but because I be like, "What's the tea, girl? What? Huh? Who said that? Like what?" Okay, so I'm not as gossipy as I used to be. I am realizing that discernment is something, a gift that God has given us. And one thing I don't ever want him to do is take my discernment away. And I'm out here looking foolish and dealing
Mhm.
in foolish situations. So my discernment was on point. And when I looked and saw that this wasn't right, I didn't entertain the time. I didn't entertain the
Mhm.
person. I don't care if it was a group setting. It was like, I'm out. I'm gonna let y'all have this. So I can definitely say, without a shadow of a doubt, I have definitely came back a different person.
That's growth.
Definitely came back a
That
person.
is definitely growth, and that's something that we all need to do. If we because it's so easy to get stagnant where you are and not move forward with anything, and that's life, that's jobs, that's
Mm-hmm.
um even homes. Like I was talking
Yeah.
to my friend earlier this weekend. She was saying how her husband had pulled up at some new homes, and she was like, "What we doing here for? We ain't looking for no new home. Like, why I gotta get out?" I said, "You don't know what the Lord has told your husband. You better go with it."
Mm-hmm.
She was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I wish I would have been a doctor or to live in one of these houses." I said, "Baby, hold on. First of all, let me tell you." The God that we serve, you don't have to be no doctor in order for him to let you
Oh,
afford one of these nice houses. Because I know some
mm-hmm.
people with some $1 million homes that ain't nobody doctor and they don't clock in
Mm-hmm.
to nobody work. But we get so
Mm-hmm.
used to putting God in a box on what we think we can afford and how
Mm-hmm.
we can see it working out. So that's something even in myself that I have been working on is to stop putting God in a box and
Mm-hmm.
to try to limit it to what I can see and how I can make it work because I can't make the things work. And if God said go get it or you can have it, I got my
Mm-hmm.
margin papers. It ain't my business to figure out how it's gonna get paid, how it's
You'll get
gonna
there.
work.
Mm-hmm.
He just told me to go. So we
Yeah.
just one of the things that I'm continuing to learn is and to pray for to come out of the mindset of looking past what I can see, and just
Mm-hmm.
being able to see what God wants to do for us now. Because we be putting our own self in a box, baby. Listen, He got a lot. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Your situation don't cancel out what God said. So there's
Exactly,
that.
because He asked you to figure
It,
it out no way.
yep, it don't cancel it out at all.
It does not.
What's your next question?
Is you trying to peep over here my questions?
You gotta pick.
So my other question was, let's see. I guess we can. I don't know. We kind of talked about this a little bit. It just has. What is one thing you learned about friendship during a season of distance?
Mm. One thing I have learned is people make time for who they want to make time for.
Mm.
And I'm just gonna leave it right there.
Well, that what that that is true. So true. Good and bad.
Good and bad. I'm just gonna leave it right there. People make time for who they want to make time for. So
Yeah,
there's
that's that on that. Next question. Let me see what I get. um. Okay, here's a good one. It said, let's the myth of catching up. Talk about how do people now do some people expect to pick off where they left in relationships, and sometimes that doesn't always be healthy or realistic.
Mhm.
What you think about that?
I agree, but I'm also of the thought of let's have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And if we, let's just say Dina and I did not speak the entire time I was off, right? And I reach out to Dina and Dina giving me the cold shoulder. I could get upset and be like, hey, what's wrong with her? Woo, 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 woo. Or I could be like, hey, are you good? Can we talk? Can we meet up? Is there something that I need to do? And we can always take the mature route. Most times we don't want to take that route. We'll just rather feel like, oh, I did my part. I reached out. She don't want to talk. Then I ain't gonna be worried about because I ain't do nothing to her. We say these things. We've said it once in our life before, right?
Right, right,
It is what it is. So I do agree with it, but I am of the thought of I'm okay with a sit down, even if the person give all that to me and be like, what you doing? And if they feel away with me, I'm okay to sit down and have a conversation and be like, oh, okay, because we can assume everything. But like, the world say, when you assume, you the first three letters of that word. You making the what at yourself. So
well,
before we allow our emotions to get in the way, it's okay to have the conversation and have a come to Jesus meeting and meet in the middle. And you'll both be like, oh girl, I didn't even know you had that going on. Or oh, I didn't know you was working crazy hours and da 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 da.
right,
It's nothing but a conversation to have. But I
right,
do agree though.
right, right, right.
Mhm.
I agree with that part too.
We don't want to talk these days.
No, because it's easier just to assume and go on about your business and have
Yeah.
attitude because you don't want to humble yourself and just have a conversation. That's how a lot of friendships are ruined. And I was
Yep.
listening to the somebody on TV today, I think the podcast, and he was talking about how people were friends and over disagreement they stopped being friends. Years later, they haven't talked and don't even remember what the disagreement was about.
Look out. You even know why
I
you mad.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't need and want those kinds of friends in my life ever never. I feel like now I have toned down a whole lot. Praise the Lord. But I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I never want any of my friends, especially my friends, but associates too, because I ain't got
Mm-hmm.
time for all that at this point in my life. To ever
Mm-hmm.
feel like you can't come to me and say something like if I've offended you about
Right.
whatever, or if you feel some type of way. And because I'm like, that make me feel like you think I'm a big bad wolf or something that you can't
Yeah.
come to me and have a conversation. And then so I
Mm-hmm.
feel like if you can't do that, then we're really not friends. And I really don't even want to be bothered with it at this point in my life. So,
Yeah.
I'm good on this. So I am learning to be okay with not being okay and going on about my business. Because I used to say no new friends. Baby, I welcome new friends now because new friends have taught me so much in this new season of my life. New friends have came with new opportunities, new open doors, like
Mm-hmm.
to go in. And even, from doing this podcast and stuff like that. And I recently shared on Facebook, I think yesterday, how a lady reached out to me in my inbox on my way to Atlanta and asked
Mm-hmm.
me if I would join her panel. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what? I don't even know the lady. I know people
Mm-hmm.
that know her, but I don't know her. And I just, in my mind, I figured maybe she's seen the post that I post or seen some from the
Mm-hmm.
podcast or something like that. So even this platform that you forced me on, all this plan that we have gotten on has stretched me and grown me even on those levels because whether y'all know it or not, I do not like to talk to people like that. I will talk to you one on one all day long. But as for
Mm-hmm.
a platform, no, that is something I ain't ever wanted to do. But I am
Mm-hmm.
open to the experience because you never know what leads to something else. Okay. So that is my growth spurt in season that I'm in right now. I'm open to
Mm-hmm. So we have hit the 40-minute mark. Now y'all know our rule is we be trying to do 30 minutes and under. Okay.
it.
That's the rule around yonder. We try to do 30 minutes and under. But we gonna give ourselves a pass because it has been a little minute, y'all. It's been a little minute. So we will give us a pass in this. You know, as we wrapping this up and bringing this to a close, I will say that I'm gonna be truthful. I enjoyed the time off. Is that bad to say out loud?
No, because here's the thing. Even God knows when we need a rest. And sometimes when you're
Mm-hmm.
going, and you got so many other things going on, you're not gonna take a rest. Not to say that the rest was for that to happen, but
Right.
the
Mm-hmm.
domino effect of it was you needed time away.
Mm-hmm.
And there is nothing wrong with that because life be life, and but you still need time to breathe because guess what? Just like they say, if you don't take care of yourself, then you're not good for nobody else, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's okay to take a step back, mental break, whatever you need to get your life back in order so you can be
Mm-hmm.
stronger and prepare. And seasons change. So there was just
Yeah.
a season of you stepping back and reloading for the next season that's gonna happen that we don't know what's happening, but we know God is still in control
Mm-hmm.
with good, the bad, and the ugly, and the in between, right?
Yep.
So it was all a part of God's plan. We just didn't know it.
Yeah, I enjoy you. I went to Nashville. We just came back on Sunday. And I was talking to my friend and she was like, "What did y'all do?" Well, you know what? I said, "I'm gonna be honest. Girl, we did absolutely nothing." I was like, I said, and that was probably the best trip that we probably have had this year, where we
Mm,
did. Usually, we go and have expensive dinners. Me and my husband, we gonna go do this. We buy this, that, and baby, we went to the park. Who goes out of town to go sit in somebody's park? Who does that? We did that. The weather was nice, baby. I'm swinging my legs. I'm looking and just taking it in. And for something to be so simple, I mean, the simplest thing ever, and enjoyed it so much.
right.
Just sitting on the bench, looking and looking, wind blowing, everything.
Enjoy the moment. Enjoying
And
it.
literally, we did nothing spectacular. When I say nothing, I mean nothing spectacular. And
There was
that's nothing that him and I does or do, and even with the kids. Like we're gonna go to here, we're gonna do something, we're gonna make it a wang dang doodle, and we did none of that. We ate the simplest food. Like we didn't go to Paris, we didn't go here get this expensive steak. Like it was the most chilled, and I was like, wow, I feel refreshed. I feel like myself again. I can't even explain it. And I even told my friend, I was like, this trip was different. It was
mm,
different. But yeah, I did enjoy my time. And I do think I needed
right.
that. I do think because before Dean and I even came a duo, I was a duo with another young lady, which we're still cool. I was of course even by myself. So I've been doing this like consistently for almost 3 years, 3 to 4 years, and this probably been the first time I've ever had a break like this
Mm.
in doing this because coming on talking to people is work. To
Yes, it
keep a
is.
conversation going, to keep the vibes up, to make sure you have all your I's dot, T's crossed, make sure you got everything, interacting with the chat, all the like it's I didn't realize how draining it could be. So that's why I was like, I think I kind of really enjoyed taking, and I do feel like it was forced. I'm not saying that the death was a part of
Right.
it,
I get
but
it.
I
Right.
do think that it was a forced thing because I hadn't stopped. Like I was on it year. I'm doing 2 3 days out the week by myself with somebody on a panel. I'm all the things. And if I ain't on YouTube, I'm on TikTok. If I ain't on TikTok, I'm on Instagram. If I ain't on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. Like you saw me somewhere. And this
Mhm.
was the first time this summer where I was like, I cut everything off. Just, I cut it all off. I feel like the Lord told me to, like, you need to back up, like, redirect what you're doing. So, but okay, that's enough of my on the couch on my Dr. Phil couch, child.
Okay, well, I got a closing benediction. Let me see
Come on.
it. So it just says, before we sign off, we just want to honor the sacredness of return. Whether you're coming back to a friendship, a marriage, a dream, or even yourself, there is grace in re entry. We've unloaded tonight, but we hope you're leaving with a little more clarity, a little more courage, and a lot of compassion for your own journey. So until next time, continue the journey. That's all I got.
All right, you guys, y'all heard it here. And we're passing our collection plate around there. Y'all can see at the bottom. Y'all can give us our collection plate down there at the bottom with ConvowithShun. And I'm just playing, y'all. All right, y'all. That's all we got for y'all. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. And y'all have an amazing week. We'll see you guys, and we will talk to you guys in the next video.